Hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hi, Nathan. How are you? How's your day going? I hope everybody's having a good day. I thought I'd pop on quickly. This is my second live for Watch Me Build Social. So I'm still building my community, but I'm really thankful that those of you that showed up are here. Hi, Lucia. How are you? How's your day going? Good, good, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. So I'm here to answer any social media questions that you guys might have today. The amplification gap, building your account. You just came back from a walk? Oh my goodness, Lucia, it's so hot outside. It is so hot. How was your walk? Hi, how are you? Diego, we're talking about social media today. Hi, Stephen, how are you? We're talking about social media growth today. Watch Me Build Social is, hi Amy, Watch Me Build Social is my second social media account. My other channel has over 175,000 followers across 4 different platforms. I've built those accounts over the last 5.5 years. And so now I'm working on Watch Me Build Social. Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate it. Watch Me Build Social is content about what I've learned in the last 5.5 years, where we have structural gaps in social media, as well as where we have personal gaps. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer. Thank you. So it's really nice to be on here and doing new things. I'm on 3 platforms at once for anybody that's wondering if I'm not looking, or I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Instagram all at the same time. So welcome. I really appreciate the kind words. Thanks, Lucia. Yeah, this is a little bit different for me because, I mean, yes, my other channel, was different content. This is something that I'm also very passionate about. So Amy asked me a really great question, like, why did I start my channel? So Amy, this channel, like Watch Me Build Social, or my other channel? So my other channel is Lorraine 111. That channel started because I was really interested in spirituality and helping people. And I'm a high school teacher by trade. Hi, how are things in Nepal? Thank you for joining me. So my other channel, I started over 5.5 years ago, and it grew fairly rapidly. I was very lucky to go from 0 to 100,000 followers in 1 year. And I've been, building my community ever since. And Watch Me Build Social came about because I wanted to teach people what I've learned in building those other channels. So one of the reasons is because I felt like I reached a ceiling on my other channel. So my other channel, when I got to about 105,000 followers, I noticed that I wasn't getting a lot of new people coming through. I had to look at my approach. What did I need to change? And so basically I said to myself, you know what? What have I learned? If I was going to invest in a new channel, what would I do? And something that came about actually was high ticket coaching. So going back to your question, Amy, about why did I start this specific channel? It's because actually I was invited to do high ticket coaching with a very, very famous content creator. I won't name who the content creator is, but that person slid into my DMs. It was not AI. It was not a bot. It was a real person. It was basically a team member that was trying to sell me high ticket coaching. And I don't know if any of you have ever looked into high ticket coaching before, but hi Daisy, but high ticket coaching is very expensive. Like we're talking 5 figures here, right? Like thousands and thousands of dollars for, some possible amplification. And I'll put it to you that way. I recognized that what was being offered to me was going into a cohort with maybe a few hundred people. There was no one-on-one coaching that was being offered. Hi, how are you? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate always your kindness and support of my videos, and I try to return the favor to you. So thank you for being here. So I was offered this high ticket coaching and I discovered that it was basically going to be like, you know, me in a cohort with a few hundred people, no one-on-one, maybe some framework, but like what did I really need from that? I already had framework. I've already built over 100,000 on my channel. What I was really needing was amplification. I needed to get onto podcasts or onto interviews and other styles of content. And so basically, I said, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, Johan, how are you? Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. So I said, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, like imagine I'm going to spend 5 figures, okay? Not that I'm oozing money, but like if I'm going to spend money on coaching, but that coaching is not going to necessarily help me the way that I need it, where else could I put that money? And what I decided to do was to invest in a videographer, an editor, and my new channel. Hi, Claire, how are you? So about 4.5 months ago, I started Watch Me Build Social. And I'm proud to say that I've had some good, slow growth. I mean, nothing is overnight. Social media is a long game. And so basically, I've been building my channel on all the platforms and, meeting new people and sharing what I've learned. Oh, you're so sweet, Johan. Thank you. So this channel, Watch Me Build Social, on YouTube specifically, has podcast style interviews. I just filmed, let's see, 3 different interviews. I have one being released this week where I talk to people about their social media journeys or also what is important in building a channel. So, hi Delta, how are you? So one of the things that one might say if they come across my channel right now, they might be like, but who are you to talk about social media? And I beg to differ. I have 5.5 years experience, over 175,000 followers across 4 platforms, maybe even almost 200,000 at this point. So I definitely understand what it takes and the hustle it takes to build social media. So if any of you are right now struggling with anything, or you have any questions, or you're not sure what's getting in your way, ask me. Now's the time to ask while I'm on, because I definitely have a lot of experience with coaching. I coach a lot of people on different topics, life, love, relationships, but also I work with people who work in corporate environments, military, government, all walks of life. So I'm also a business teacher by trade. I was a high school teacher for 22 years. I guess I'm still technically a teacher, right? So I have taught entrepreneurship. I've built my own accounts. I do help others with their businesses or their accounts. So I definitely have a background in social media. So yes, this channel might be new and young, but I've got a lot of experience that I can share. Oh, thank you so much, Johanna. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Watch Me Build Social. Right now, currently, I'm streaming from TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram all at the same time. So just in case you're wondering why I look at different cameras, I'm not ignoring anybody, but I like to go live on all the platforms at once like I do on my other channel. But I definitely do appreciate the support. This has been a really nice journey for me. I love talking about growth and manifestation and evolution and social media. So, yeah. Oh, Anne, you're so sweet. Thank you for coming. And you always have great questions about social media. I'm kind of curious in what ways I can help you. Thank you so much, Anne. Do I like spicy food? I'm getting better with it. I'm getting better with it. I'm typically mild in my food choices, but I'm definitely getting better. So tell me, what is everybody up to today? What's the vibe? Are you guys at work? Scrolling? It is so hot outside today. It is absolutely crazy. It's insane. This heat wave is unbelievable. You have a list that you are not, yeah? So tell me, Anne, what is your main focus right now with social media? Like, what do you want to do? And that's interesting that you say that, Anne, about social media classes being obsolete. And I'm going to say this with like love and respect, because I just took about I took about 4 or 5 courses. And the reason I say 4 or 5 is because I took 4 in actual social media. So social media content creation, marketing, analytics, but I also took one in AI as well. Okay, so I've taken about 5 social media courses on top of my 5.5 years experience. And one thing that I did notice is that those courses can become obsolete. It does change very quickly. You're right, Anne. And one of the things that I would say about social media courses is that they teach you a lot of the stuff that you already know. Okay. And, I might be making assumptions here, but I think a lot of the courses focus on very simple things, and that's good. We got to start simple. But I think there's other things to consider. One thing that would make most people's social media experience better would be understanding what is your central truth. Randomly posting a bunch of different things, if that's your goal, great. But if you're basically trying to build something of substance on a specific topic, you really have to ask yourself, what is your central truth? Like, what is it that you're trying to solve for your viewers? That's okay, Anne. Write something like short, like just even a topic that you'd like me to look at. I'm happy to answer. So vocabulary words, fine. We did simulations, but they were from 2023 and for a big company. So when you say for a big company, are you talking about like examples of social media marketing for corporations? Because this is my point. So in the social media courses that I did take last year, yes, I did get something out of it. I did enjoy it because it did lead me in a new direction in some aspects. But I will say that the professors that were teaching it all came from a corporate background. And yes, that's amazing. Corporate knowledge is obviously beyond what most people would understand. But there's a big difference between social media on a personal level versus a corporate level. Because on a corporate level, everything's about data. Everything is about numbers. It's about dollars and cents. And I understand we all want to make money. We want to focus on our numbers, and that's great. But I think that there's a balance there. As much as I appreciate data, there's also a side where you have to look at, your central truth. What are you putting out there? Do you know your audience? Now, you get to know your audience through data, absolutely. But something that has worked for me, especially as someone who's in a service industry, as in like doing coaching and sessions with people, is that I can't always track the purchase. I have to put myself on live in my videos, and over time, people getting to know me, that's when they want to book with me. So from a data perspective, I can't always look at the numbers. Certain things I can, like on my videos, how long people watched for, retention, things like that. But in general, I think there's a combination, data plus knowing pattern recognition. So you're doing a lot of Adobe classes and then web design. And it's interesting, yeah. You've been doing side hustle for your friends since October. I do daily posts in their group or random. So what's the side hustle, and what's the type of business? Like I said, I think that if your goal is to connect with people, then you have to look at what people are interested in. So you check analytics, trying to follow trends. Okay, so clothing apparel, mountains and mermaids. It sounds really interesting. And this is the thing, I would ask people, what's more important to you? Is, the short term more important to you, or the long term? Because I think a lot of people on social media are thinking about their short term gain, meaning they're looking at trends. And yeah, trends are always attention grabbings, but trends come and go. Hi, Steph, how are you? It's so nice to see you. I'm so used to seeing you on Instagram. It can be tough to work with other people, Anne. This is the thing. When you're working a business and you're making social media decisions, sometimes you may not agree. And I mean, Steph, this is my other channel, right? So it's not even my typical content. And Steph, thank you so much for your support on my videos, the likes, You know, any likes, comments, shares, they make a difference and they really do matter. Well, and the thing about generic posts is that they don't answer. They don't answer something, right? People want explanations. They want to know information. So I get where you're coming from. Hi, Zoe. How are you? Oh, Steph, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your support. I mean, this is the thing that you know about me in the years that we've been in touch, and that's, you know, I love coaching people. And even in my other social media account, I'm always coaching and I do a lot of business coaching. So this is not new to me, really. Good morning, Sebastian. How are you? Oui, je parle français, Sébastien. I'm a French teacher actually by trade. So I've been a high school teacher for approximately now 22 years. I was a high school French teacher, English teacher, and business teacher. But that's the thing, and you were making the ones that weren't generic. Is it the other people that were making generic posts? Was that what you were referring to? Where are you located, Sebastian? So yeah, I'm really curious to know what your social media questions are, because I know that there's so many topics. My goodness, so many topics we could talk about. I see what you're saying, Anne. But the thing is, you can't control it. You know, like if it's your social media, you can decide your posts. You have the ultimate control over what you do. It's hard when there's another person involved. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear about your friend's son. That's tough. And I mean, life, life is part of all of this, right? She called you generic. Oh, I see. I'm really sorry. So then obviously there was a difference of opinion in what social media posts should be made, right? Yeah, totally understand. So Anne, what direction are you going in now with social media? Like you're taking all these classes. What is the what is the goal after these classes are done? Because I know you've been taking a lot of courses, you've been doing a lot of education, and that's amazing. So what is your absolute goal? Because I tell people all the time that social media is really a long game. It's not a short game. Like this is something that takes time, consistency, and effort, but not even just that. You have to be clear. You've got to be super clear. For me, my channel is based on the amplification gap. You're going to hear me say it all the time. Amplification gap, amplification gap, amplification gap, right? So, you know, I'm finding every example of the amplification gap imaginable. You took a break. Yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm. You like filming videos? Is that what you're saying? More than making like static posts or carousels? So I've been trying to find examples, like I just said, of the amplification gap everywhere. And so for those of you that may not know what I'm referring to when I say the amplification gap, I'm talking about a structural gap between mid-tier and elite creators. If you were to think about all of the elite creators that you see on social media, they have creative directors, graphic designers, they have editors. I mean, they've got a network of people. They have a team that makes sure that their content is top notch. And sometimes us as independent content creators, we compare ourselves to somebody who's got a team, an endless budget. And sometimes it's really hard to crack into that top tier, right? Because just think, we have to start somewhere. We're all beginners at some point. Beginner, we want to get to mid-tier. And then once you get to mid-tier, this is the toughest spot. You tend to hit a ceiling. Why? Well, the creator economy is a 250 billion, listen to that, $1 billion industry, but only 4% are making over $100,000. So there's a huge gap. So if you were to look at your top creators, you're looking at someone like a Mr. Beast, right? I mean, obviously that is elite, elite, elite. That is like your number one creator out there. But look at the team that they have. We cannot compare ourselves to somebody on that level, right? So how do we close that gap? How do we become amplified? There's a structural gap, which means that, the network turns the knob or the platform turns the knob. All of these platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, they determine where the views go, right? Just like networks on TV, they determine who gets viewed, who gets the story put on them, right? And so that's something that content creators are faced with every single day and don't even realize it. They think that if they just post consistently or post 10 times a day, that they're suddenly going to be found and they're going to go viral and that we're going to have this instant success. And the thing is that a viral video does not guarantee multiple followers. It doesn't guarantee success. It's a moment of data and time, but that doesn't mean it stays that way. And so I think that we have to figure out a way to be more clear and to try to close that gap. So that's the structural side. And then there's the personal side. And often the personal side is when somebody has limiting beliefs. When you were a child and somebody said, "Oh, you're too much," or "You talk too much," or, I don't know, you got some criticism that wasn't so nice, that stays with us. And then when we go to make content later, we end up in the same boat where we feel criticized or we have a limiting belief that we can't do something. And so a lot of the times, yes, there's a structural gap, but there's also a personal gap. And so I help people figure out the root of their issue, whether that's structural or whether that's personal, and we work through it. As an example, when I first started the Watch Me Build Social channel, right, after my other channel, I noticed a real increase in followers on my first channel. So I hit a ceiling at about 105,000 followers on TikTok. And ever since I've become more clear with my content, my hooks, right, my account has grown about 14,000 followers since I'd say about February on TikTok. Today on Instagram, actually, my other channel reached 30,000 and my YouTube is just over 30,000 as well. Oh, that sounds really good, Anne. For like a Friday? Totally understand. So yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of changes in social media over the last 5.5 years. And I think something that we're not recognizing is the shift between social media and interest media. And a lot of us are still trying to apply social media strategies versus interest media. And that's really important for you guys to know. So, Anne, when you're thinking about your content, you have to look at it now from an interest media lens versus social media. Social media used to be about who follows you. Now it's about like what people are interested in. And so you got to find ways to bring people in every possible door. So back to my amplification gap, one of the things that I talk about is Big Brother content. I love the show Big Brother, but guess what? There's a structural gap there. There's an advantage to the elite players on the show. They bring in elite players, so other Survivor cast members, old Big Brother cast members, for the sake that they're going to be given a structural advantage. So just like when you watch Survivor and you see returning players, I mean, Survivor 50 was filled with returning players, and that's a little bit different, right? That was the premise of the show. But if you were to really look at the origins of a show like Big Brother or the origins of a show like Survivor, even Amazing Race for that matter, they were meant to be everyday people, right? Living in a house with a bunch of cameras. Everyday people going to an island to survive, I guess you could say, right? The Amazing Race was everyday people, siblings, couples, coworkers, friends getting on the show to travel around the world. But now if you look at the cast on the majority of these shows are people who already have amplification. Like this season alone of Big Brother has, let's see, 11 people out of 17 already have amplification. Okay. 3 of them are elite players from Big Brother and from Survivor. There's cast members right now that basically have celebrity status in their family. So Lyric, who's one of the house guests on Big Brother right now, her dad is Glenn Medeiros. Nothing's gonna change my love for you. Famous song of the 80s. Okay, she's got over 600,000 followers on TikTok. Another house guest on Big Brother right now is the niece of 2 founding members of Kool and the Gang. This house guest herself, if I'm not mistaken, has won a Grammy, right? Another house guest, he was on a Fox game show where he won $46,000 with his family. Another house guest was on Mr. Beast Games Season 1. So we have people who already have amplification and have been seen on other reality shows. You know, it's kind of disheartening because it takes away from the aspect of like what it was meant to be in the first place, which was supposed to be like real, right? Real people. And I'm not saying that, you know, these elite players or returning players aren't elite, or aren't real, I should say, but you know, it's looking for drama. It's looking to structure things rather than to let everyday people create new memories. Like, how do we know we're not going to have great drama with new people on these type of shows? But again, that's the structural gap that exists. That's why the amplification gap is being highlighted here. I don't think a lot of people recognize how many times we see an amplification gap in our society. We see it in sports all the time, right? Think of athletes, you know, who are great athletes that don't get discovered because they don't have the money for the right coaching. Think about people in the music industry. You can be one of the most amazing singers and not be amplified, right? You can think of, like I said, TV. How many people have already had amplification elsewhere instead of bringing on new cast members? So a lot of the times we have a structural advantage and it's just simply not fair. Think about all the elite creators on social media who have these networks, creative directors, editors, you know, who repost everything for each other. They stick together. Elite creators always stick together. And that's why they're successful. And it kind of reminds me of reality TV where like the mid-tier players, they flip-flop. They're trying to attach themselves to the elite, and at the same time, you know, they're also going to the beginners or the newbies because they're trying to rally the troops. But then how many people in the middle actually stay together? It's always the people at the top who stay together. And so this is the thing that I'm